Dearest listener, have you been eagerly anticipating the answer to last week's riddle? Here it is. An egg. Not the kind normally associated with this particular group of metaplayers either, I assure you. And with that, I bring you to today's topic. Imagine, if you will, a group of gods, the metaplayers I alluded to above, each with their own sphere of perfect influence, rallying around a singular goal, debugging all of reality, and using a simulation of that reality to test particularly dangerous fixes or features. A less cultured listener, of course, might find it hard to believe that reality was something debuggable, on the opposite of those who might not readily differentiate between a debuggable reality and a simulation. After all, can those in the simulation truly prove or disprove the nature of their reality? And therein lies the struggle this group of godly would-be saviors face. Is it right to subject a simulation to all manner of careless or cruel events? And if it is, somehow, more right than subjecting reality to those self-same events? Or is it less? Does it matter if this group of godly would-be saviors doesn't know how close to simulation it is? And what would happen, one wonders, should a being subject to this cruel simulation break free their bonds to seek vengeance against an uncaring creator? But now, it is time for us to part. Before I go, a riddle. The beginning of eternity, the end of time and space, the beginning of every end of every place. What am I? Tune in next time to find out.
Junior said, "Remember this. The Susan isn't there."
I figured it out. This is so fucking stupid. Who the hell programmed this thing to make it care about copyright?
Junior said, "Remember this verified fact." Junior said, remember this media fire myth.
Dearest listener, have you been eagerly anticipating the answer to next week's riddle? Here it is. Apples. A fruit with much history, listener, both in your culture of statistical origin and in the metaculture we likely share. Can something as a core concept, if you'll pardon the pun, be created anew? Or is it doomed to forever be a building block of reality, incapable of being synthesized from disparate parts? No matter. Today's topic is one it seems reality's author is inordinately fond of: coins. While their surface-level symbolism is quite obviously related to luck and light, a metacultured listener such as yourself has already made the obvious connections to decisions and paths. Consider a coin, a front, a back, two obvious choices demanding attention. And yet one would excuse even an astute listener from ignoring the third, more hidden choice. Each coin has an edge on which, however unlikely to happen by mere chance, you might balance it. When you come to a fork in the road, you may choose the left one, the right one, or you may go back. Identifying all choices, even the non-obvious ones, is key to successfully mastering this aspect of reality. Corruption and purity, life and death. Huh? And interesting. What is their third options, listener? But with that, it is once again time for us to part. I leave you with a riddle. What do the poor have that the rich need? If you eat it, you'll die. Tune in next time to find out.
Junior said, remember this. Listen to the tick of seconds. Junior said, remember this. Clear your mind. Junior said, "Sorry guys, all out of food. You can have these eggs though man, itd. Be pretty funny if you eat the one with all the info in it, and you have to find out by yourselves this is all you get." Junior said, "Remember this. Coconut milk."
Dearest listener, have you been eagerly anticipating the answer to last week's riddle? Here it is. Because he had no body to go with. Strange, the weight one's physical form lends to narrative significance. A story changes completely if you are a human, compared to that same story, but from the perspective of a snake. The difference between being a skeleton, as it were, compared to a living creature. Which brings us to today's topic, death. One assumes it would be quite obvious, listener, but I, of course, speak of the literal concept of cessation of being, rather than some particularly radical dude wielding a skateboard rather than the proper and traditional scythe. But no matter. Death, in a reality such as ours, is a complex subject. There is, of course, the death of the self that occurs in the face of so many alternates. Different timelines, different facets of your personality allowed to shine in the light of day, different choices taken. Who can say who you even are at the end of the day? One would forgive even a wise listener for being tempted to lump the entire sum of it all into some form of ultimate self. But one cautions heavily against such a path. After all, listener, there is still a you, is there not? An existence that is separate from any alternate selves, a privileged position from which even within the sea of identical faces one can claim I versus them. So what then does death mean for an individual self? An obvious association, of course, is to believe that no such thing is truly possible, given the myriad of ways reality allows death to be circumvented, especially for those truly playing its game. And yet, is the entity continuing on in the form of a backup life truly the self, or merely one of the sea of alternate faces?